Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about a simple drink to lower cortisol and sleep better. Nighttime cortisol spikes are quietly wrecking people's sleep, raising heart rate, feeding anxiety, and stealing deep restorative sleep. So if you're waking up exhausted, this could be why. Here's the good news. A targeted pre-bed beverage can blunt those spikes, boost natural melatonin, and calm the nervous system without pills. In the next minute, first I'll give you the exact 3 ingredients that matter, why each one works on a hormonal level, and the best timing and temperature to get real results. You'll learn a quick, delicious recipe you can make tonight, who should be cautious, and how to fold this into a reliable bedtime routine so it actually improves sleep over weeks, not just one night. Stay with me for the recipe, a fast demo, and 3 practical tweaks to personalize it for you. Then try it tonight and tell me how you slept. 1. Impact of high evening cortisol on sleep. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about how elevated cortisol levels in the evening interfere with your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone, produced by the adrenal glands, and it normally follows a day-night rhythm. Higher in the morning to help you wake and lower at night to facilitate sleep. When that rhythm is disrupted and cortisol remains high after sundown, the brain stays in an alert, wake-ready state instead of shifting into the restorative stages of sleep. It keeps you wired. High evening cortisol increases physiological arousal through several pathways. It activates the hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal, HPA, axis and raises sympathetic nervous system activity, so heart rate and blood pressure can stay elevated at bedtime. These changes make it harder to relax the body and quiet the mind, which lengthens sleep onset and leads to more frequent awakenings during the night. People under chronic stress, those doing shift work, caregivers up late attending to children, or anyone facing evening anxiety commonly report this pattern. The experience is familiar, lying in bed, eyes open, mind racing, while the body behaves as if it should be awake. The architecture of sleep is also sensitive to late-night cortisol. Sustained elevations tend to blunt slow-wave, deep sleep and destabilize REM sleep, producing lighter, less restorative rest. As a result, total sleep quality drops even if total time in bed doesn't change. Objective measures like sleep efficiency and continuity worsen, and subjectively people report non-restorative sleep and daytime fatigue. That, in turn, feeds back into the stress system. Poor sleep raises next-day reactivity and can keep evening cortisol elevated again. It becomes a self-perpetuating cycle. Recognizing these impacts is the first step toward interrupting the loop. Track your patterns. Notice nights with racing thoughts, nighttime awakenings, or unrefreshing mornings, and link them to evening stressors like late screens, intense conversations, or caffeine. If sleep problems persist despite behavioral adjustments, discuss them with a healthcare professional to evaluate HPA axis function and rule out underlying conditions. Small changes that lower evening cortisol can restore healthier sleep architecture and break the cycle of nighttime arousal. 2. Magnesium-rich drinks for muscle relaxation. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about how a simple magnesium-rich bedtime drink can ease muscle tension and help you sleep more deeply. Many people lie awake because their bodies are still tense, or they wake with cramps and stiffness. Muscle tension makes falling asleep harder, and fragmented sleep prevents the deep, restorative stages your body needs. A focused, low-stress beverage routine before bed can target that physical tension directly. Magnesium works at the cellular level to promote muscle relaxation by modulating calcium's effect on muscle fibers and supporting GABAergic activity in the nervous system, so it's a natural choice when the issue is physical tightness. Not all magnesium sources are equal, though. Mineral-rich waters and certain supplement forms like citrate and chloride are well absorbed. Bisglycinate, glycinate, is often recommended for sleep because it's gentler on the stomach and less likely to cause loose bowels. Food-based drinks, blended smoothies, or warm nut milks deliver magnesium plus other nutrients that support calming, rather than the sometimes harsh taste of straight supplement powders. Practical examples work best. Blend a generous handful of spinach with a banana, a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, a cup of almond or soy milk, and a small spoonful of cocoa powder for a chocolatey, magnesium-forward smoothie that's still easy on the stomach. Another option, warm almond milk with a scoop of a bisglycinate or citrate powder designed for oral use, lightly sweetened with a touch of honey or cinnamon for flavor. Choose a magnesium-fortified mineral water if you prefer something clear. Read the label for mineral content and choose one labeled high in magnesium. Avoid ingesting Epsom salts or other industrial magnesium sulfates unless directed by a clinician. Those are not intended for casual consumption. Timing and pairing matter. Sip these drinks roughly an hour before bed to allow absorption and to give the body time to transition toward rest. Combine the drink with a short pre-sleep routine, dim lights, gentle stretching, and breathing for 2 to 5 minutes. Be mindful of medication interactions. Magnesium can bind some antibiotics and reduce uptake of certain oral medications, so separate magnesium intake from those drugs and check with your prescriber. Also, if you have impaired kidney function, consult your clinician before adding regular supplemental magnesium. Start small and personalize. If a powder upsets your gut, switch to whole food options like seed and nut-based smoothies. Track how muscle tightness and sleep quality change over several nights rather than expecting an instant miracle. Try one of the recipes tonight. Note the difference in how your muscles and mind feel, and discuss ongoing use with your healthcare provider if you're on medications or have chronic conditions. Give this approach a week and pay attention to whether falling asleep and staying asleep feel easier. Then adjust ingredients and timing until it fits your routine. 3. Tart Cherry Juice, a natural melatonin source. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about a simple, natural beverage that can help shore up the hormone signals your body needs for sleep. Many people struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep because their internal melatonin signal is weak or out of sync, and persistent evening stress can push cortisol higher when it should be dropping. Tart Cherry Juice offers a food-based source of melatonin along with anti-inflammatory compounds, which together can support the biology of falling asleep and staying asleep. Tart cherries, commonly the Montmorency variety, contain measurable amounts of melatonin and are rich in polyphenol, especially anthocyanins. Clinical studies using tart cherry juice or concentrated tart cherry products have reported modest improvements in total sleep time and sleep quality, and measures of melatonin metabolism show rises after consumption. The combination of direct melatonin and antioxidant, anti-inflammatory actions means you get two routes to better sleep. One that nudges your circadian signal, and another that reduces physiological stressors that can keep you awake. Practical use is straightforward and adaptable. People typically use a tart cherry juice or concentrate in the hours before bed, or split a dose between morning and evening to raise circulating melatonin across the day-night transition. Powdered extracts and capsule supplements are available for those watching sugar intake. Choose unsweetened juice or a concentrate without added sugars. And if you have metabolic concerns such as diabetes, discuss options with your clinician before starting. For athletes or anyone with high evening cortisol from late training sessions, the anti-inflammatory anthocyanins in tart cherries can also support recovery and potentially help blunt nighttime stress signals. Integrating tart cherry juice into a sleep-friendly routine amplifies its benefits. Combine it with consistent bedtimes, reduced screen light in the hour before bed, and a short sleep diary or app to track changes in how long it takes you to fall asleep and how rested you feel in the morning. Try a trial period, for example, 1 to 2 weeks, while keeping other habits stable so you can assess the effect. If you notice improved sleep, keep using the approach. If you have medical conditions, are pregnant, or are taking medications, check with your healthcare provider first. Give tart cherry juice a controlled try and pay attention to the signals your body sends. Small dietary changes can make a measurable difference in sleep quality. 4. Chamomile and Apigenin for brain calming. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about a simple plant compound that helps quiet the restless mind and supports better sleep. When stress keeps the brain in a high alert state, the GABA system that normally calms neural activity can become less effective, and that's where Apigenin, a flavone concentrated in chamomile flowers, comes into play. Laboratory research shows Apigenin interacts with GABA-A receptor sites and produces measurable anxiolytic effects in animal models, and several clinical studies using chamomile preparations report reductions in anxiety symptoms in people. This calming action on GABAergic pathways is one of the key ways chamomile helps shift the brain out of arousal and toward relaxation. A practical way to tap into these effects is through a chamomile infusion or a standardized extract. Both deliver apigenin along with other supportive constituents like bisabolol. People often reach for a warm cup of chamomile before bed to interrupt the cycle of worry and rumination. Some standardized extracts used in anxiety trials are formulated to concentrate active flavones, which can offer a more consistent level of apigenin than a single cup of tea. Still, the traditional infusion is effective for many because it combines mild pharmacology with a relaxing bedtime routine. Scent, warmth, and ritual all help signal the brain that it's time to wind down. Mechanistically, apigenin's interaction with the brain reduces neuronal excitability and appears to modulate stress pathways that feed into the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis, the system that governs cortisol release. That means chamomile doesn't just taste calming. It can influence the neurochemical circuits underlying anxiety and stress-driven arousal. Evidence from human trials is modest but promising. Chamomile extracts have been associated with improved anxiety symptoms and better subjective sleep in several studies. These are not miracle cures, yet when used consistently as part of a nighttime routine, chamomile can be an effective, low-risk adjunct to other sleep-promoting habits. Integration is straightforward. Use chamomile as one element in a broader pre-sleep ritual. Dim lights, avoid screens, practice slow breathing, and sip chamomile as you transition to bed. If you prefer a stronger, more targeted supplement, look for products standardized for flavone content and discuss them with your clinician. Be mindful of safety. People with allergies to plants in the Asteraceae family, those taking sedative medications, or anyone on anticoagulant therapy should check with their healthcare provider before making chamomile a nightly habit. Try it for several nights while keeping a simple sleep log. Observe whether your mind quiets faster, whether sleep onset improves, and how you feel in the morning. If you want to experiment tonight, start with a soothing cup of chamomile as part of your wind down. And if you're curious about standardized extracts or interactions with other medications, reach out to your primary care provider or a pharmacist. Small, consistent changes often yield the biggest improvements in sleep. For more tips on evidence-backed strategies to calm the brain and lower nightly arousal, subscribe and join me next time. 5. Foods to avoid 3 hours before sleep. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about how what you eat in the 3 hours before bed can keep your cortisol high and sabotage sleep. Eating late doesn't just add calories. It changes how your body regulates stress hormones, digestion, and blood sugar overnight. Small choices in the evening can be the difference between falling asleep quickly and tossing and turning for hours. Caffeine-containing foods and drinks are among the biggest offenders. Coffee, black and green tea, yerba mate, energy drinks, and even many dark chocolates contain stimulants that block sleep-promoting pathways and can elevate cortisol. Sugary snacks and refined carbohydrate desserts also cause trouble. They produce rapid blood sugar spikes followed by drops that trigger counterregulatory hormones, including cortisol and adrenaline, which can wake you up. Avoid sweet pastries, candy, soda, and sweetened coffee drinks within those final 3 hours. Heavy, fatty, and very spicy meals demand slow digestion and increase metabolic activity. Foods like greasy takeout, rich cream-based sauces, and large portions of red meat can leave your stomach working hard when it should be winding down, often producing discomfort and stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. Acidic and reflux-prone items, tomato-based sauces, citrus fruits, garlic, raw onions, and peppermint can trigger heartburn. That pain or burning sensation elevates arousal and raises cortisol as your body responds to perceived distress. Spicy chilies are another culprit because they raise body temperature and can disrupt the drop in core temperature that helps initiate sleep. Alcohol and certain protein-heavy or aged foods deserve special caution. Alcohol might make sleep come faster at first, but it fragments REM sleep and can create a rebound increase in cortisol later in the night. Aged cheeses, cured meats, and some fermented products contain tyramine and other compounds that can increase norepinephrine and alertness in sensitive people. Also, very salty snacks and high-volume, water-rich foods, think chips, pickles, large bowls of soup, or watermelon, can lead to nocturnal thirst or bathroom trips, breaking sleep continuity and prompting stress hormone responses. Practical steps make this actionable. Stop consuming stimulants, sugary treats, heavy or spicy meals, and alcohol at least 3 hours before you plan to lie down. Replace them with light, sleep-friendly options like a small portion of plain yogurt with a few nuts, a banana, or a slice of whole grain toast with nut butter if you need a late bite. Drink liquids earlier in the evening and avoid carbonated beverages that can cause reflux. Try this routine for several nights and track how quickly you fall asleep and how rested you feel. If sleep problems persist, consult a healthcare professional for personalized advice. If this helped, try cutting out one category tonight and notice the difference. Then share how it goes and follow for more practical tips. 6. Creating the perfect evening wind-down ritual. Hello, my name is Dr. Greg Smith, and today first I'm going to tell you about practical steps you can take each evening to calm your nervous system and prepare for restorative sleep. Elevated evening arousal, late-night screen exposure, and irregular bedtimes all keep the stress response active and make it harder to fall asleep. Blue wavelengths from phones and tablets suppress melatonin and delay the brain's transition into sleep, while rumination and unfinished tasks keep cortisol circulating at night. These are common, reversible problems when you build a consistent wind down. Start with consistency. Going to bed and waking at roughly the same times anchors your circadian rhythm and signals your body when to lower cortisol. Next, reduce bright and blue light as the night approaches. Switch overhead lighting to warm lamps and use amber or low blue settings on devices if you must use them. Incorporate a short sequence of calming activities that reliably follow one another so your brain learns the pattern. Dim lights, a warm shower or bath to help peripheral blood flow and facilitate cooling afterward. Then quiet practices such as gentle stretching, reading a familiar paperback, or slow-paced breath work that emphasizes longer exhales to engage the parasympathetic nervous system. Make the ritual specific and simple so you'll do it consistently. For example, about an hour before bed, turn screens off or put them in another room, pour a non-caffeinated drink if you like, and change into comfortable clothes. Spend a few minutes writing down the top 2 tasks you'll address tomorrow and 3 quick gratitude notes to offload worry. Follow with 5 to 10 minutes of progressive muscle relaxation or slow diaphragmatic breathing until you feel the shoulders drop and the jaw unclench. Finish by creating an optimal sleep environment, cool, dark, and quiet, and practice a single cue to mark the end of the day, such as lighting a small lamp for reading and then switching it off as you lie down. Personalize the ritual so it fits your life and sticks. If you work late, shift the timing but keep the sequence. If kids or roommates make silence impossible, use earplugs or a white noise machine and carve out a 5-minute solo breathing practice. Use scent sparingly. A few drops of lavender on a pillow or a familiar candle you extinguish before sleep can act as a reliable cue without overstimulating. Test different elements for a week at a time and keep what helps. Small, repeatable habits beat occasional perfection. Try this tonight and notice how you feel in the morning. Start small, be consistent, and track changes in sleep onset and morning calm. If you continue to struggle despite a steady ritual, consult your healthcare provider for personalized guidance. If you've been lying awake wired and frustrated, remember why. High evening cortisol hijacks your sleep. The simple solution first showed today is a calming pre-bed drink. Think chamomile or a small glass of Tart Cherry Juice, possibly paired with a magnesium supplement if you tolerate it. That can help lower cortisol and ease you into sleep. Key points. Choose a low-sugar, calming drink 30-60 minutes before bed. Keep it warm and caffeine-free. Avoid alcohol and heavy carbs. Check with your clinician if you're on medications, pregnant, or have health conditions. Make it part of a consistent wind down. Dim the lights, turn off screens, sip slowly while doing light stretches or breathing for 10-20 minutes. Small, repeatable habits beat one-off fixes. If this helped, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss more practical, science-backed sleep tips. Tell me in the comments whether you prefer tea, Tart Cherry, or a magnesium routine. And next time, first will share a guided 5-minute wind down and a sleep support smoothie recipe that pairs perfectly with this drink. First, I'm Dr. Greg Smith. Sleep well, and first will see you in the next video.